The hood is cold. That's the first thing Marcus remembers. The paint is chipped, the metal gritty under his cheek, and the chill of it runs deeper than skin. His arms are twisted behind his back, wrists locked in a grip that doesn't just restrain, it grinds. And then the laugh. It doesn't come from a stranger in the crowd. It comes from the man pinning him down. The officer, Doyle, his badge says, is grinning. Big, open, loud. The kind of laugh that doesn't come from nerves. The kind that says you're mine. You like running your mouth, huh? He says, jerking the cuffs tighter. That'll teach you some manners. Marcus doesn't speak. Not because he's afraid. Because he's calculating. He knows where he is, Broad Street. Saturday. For 12 p.m. In front of the pharmacy. In front of half the city. He also knows who he is. And that, maybe more than anything, is why it hurts. Because this isn't a case of mistaken identity. It's a case of disregard. They know his name. They just don't care. You stand on the sidewalk now, watching the scene unfold. People gather. Some pull out phones. Some freeze. One voice whispers, "Isn't that Mr. Reed?" From Eastview. Another, the science teacher. Someone shouts, "Let him go." Doyle doesn't respond. He presses Marcus harder against the car. Smirks. Then leans down and says something low. Too low to hear. But whatever it is, it makes Marcus's eyes harden. Not rage. Not defeat. Something colder. Resolve. You glance toward the curb and see her, Leah. 14. Hoodie. Beat-up sneakers. Phone in her hand. Recording. Her thumb trembles. But the camera stays on. And when Doyle laughs again, sharp, performative, she zooms in. Catches every sound. Every flash of teeth. Every moment of injustice performed like comedy. Then the backup car arrives. Lights still swirling. Marcus is lifted, half-dragged. Not resisting. But he doesn't look back. Not at Doyle. Not at the crowd. Just forward. Like someone walking into fire they've already survived once before. The last thing you hear before the cruiser door slams shut? Leah whispering into the mic of her phone. He's not going to get away with this. And you believe her. Because this isn't just another arrest. It's the spark. The one laugh that finally landed on the wrong sidewalk. The ride to the station is silent. Not because Marcus is quiet. Because everyone else is. Doyle doesn't speak. The rookie in the front seat, Officer Grant, keeps checking the mirror, eyes flicking back at Marcus like he just realized he cuffed a man holding a lit fuse. The cruiser bumps over a pothole. Marcus doesn't move. He's replaying it now. Not the slam on the hood. Not even the laugh. He's replaying the pause. The one just before the cuffs clicked. The moment when Doyle looked him in the eye and chose to pretend none of it mattered. Not the ID in Marcus's wallet. Not the medals in his closet. Not the classroom he left unlocked so a student could stay late and finish a project. Just skin. Just cuffs. Just control. They pull into the station. Marcus steps out on his own. Doesn't wait to be tugged. Doesn't stumble. Every move is deliberate. Inside, the desk sergeant barely looks up. What's this one for? Doyle smirks. Disorderly. Got mouthy. Interfering. Marcus watches him say it like he's reciting lunch options. The sergeant nods. Starts typing. Then the rookie clears his throat. I think you should look at his ID. Doyle rolls his eyes. But the rookie holds it up. The sergeant squints. Reads the name. Then stops. You sure about this? Doyle shrugs. He started it. Marcus speaks for the first time. Calm. Controlled. I was telling a child not to cross the street before the light changed. The rookie nods quickly. Yeah, he was with a kid. Not interfering. Just helping. The sergeant exhales. Long. You're Marcus Reed? Marcus nods. Decorated Army veteran. Volunteer science teacher. Award from the mayor last year for community outreach. The sergeant turns to Doyle. Uncuff him. Now. Doyle hesitates. Then obeys. The cuffs come off. Metal clinks on tile. Marcus rubs his wrists, but doesn't look at Doyle. He just turns to the rookie. You've got about 5 minutes to decide what kind of officer you're going to be. Then he walks out of the room. Doesn't raise his voice. Doesn't slam the door. But the silence he leaves behind? It echoes. Hard. And 5 minutes later, the rookie turns in his shift report with a footnote. Unjustified use of force. Witnessed. Will testify. That night, the video surfaces. Leah uploads it to her social account with a caption. They laughed while cuffing my teacher. This is what happened. At first, it's local, shared among classmates, a few parents, 1 or 2 community groups. Then something shifts. A retweet from an activist in Atlanta. a share from a civil rights attorney, a repost by a celebrity who grew up in Birmingham and writes, "This man helped raise me. Watch this." Within 24 hours, it's everywhere. 3.2 million views, 12,000 comments, thousands of stitches and duets. But what plays the loudest? The laugh. Over and over and over. That dry, joyless sound. The one Doyle let out as Marcus hit the hood. People replay it not to hear it again, but because they don't believe someone could laugh like that while taking dignity from someone who had done nothing wrong. A remix of the laugh becomes the opening of a protest video. Artists sketch the frame where Marcus's face meets the hood. Someone turns it into a mural. Except this time, Marcus isn't being handcuffed. He's standing up, towering over Doyle, the cuffs shattered at his feet. Leah's original post becomes a digital time capsule. She adds a pinned comment. This is bigger than him. This is about who they think we are. And who we actually are. The mayor sees it. So does the school board. So does Marcus. He's home, lights low, laptop open. Grace, his wife, sits beside him, hand on his thigh. Their son, Jalen, is asleep in the next room, unaware that the world is learning just how badly his father was treated in broad daylight. Marcus doesn't smile. He doesn't cry. He just rewinds the video one more time and hits pause, not on the laugh, but on his own face. That moment when his eyes, low but steady, meet the camera, and then he speaks. Soft, controlled, just for Grace. They didn't expect me to stand up after this. She takes his hand. They forgot you never stopped standing. He exhales, then leans back, because something's coming. And this time, the laugh belongs to no one. But the reckoning? That's already on its way. They thought Marcus would go quiet. They thought he'd take the apology, the one typed in 12-point font on city letterhead with phrases like deeply regret and unfortunate misunderstanding. They thought he'd move on. They didn't know Marcus. He shows up to work Monday morning, early, before the sun burns the night off the school windows. The principal meets him at the door. "Marcus," she says, voice low. "You don't have to be here." He looks her dead in the eye. "I do." She steps aside. The hallways echo with locker doors and sneaker soles, but the usual buzz is muted, like the school itself is holding its breath. Students stare, whisper. One kid lifts his fist. Marcus nods. He doesn't stop walking until he reaches room 112. Science. Posters still on the wall. Skeleton model in the corner. Aquariums bubbling softly. He sets his bag down, opens the blinds, and starts writing the day's lesson on the board. What pressure reveals? The bell rings. Students shuffle in. Some look at the floor. Some look at him. All of them wait. Marcus turns. Smiles, just slightly. "Let's talk about what happens when you put something under stress." He teaches the lesson. Nothing in his tone betrays what happened 2 days ago. But every sentence, it lands different. Because this isn't just about atoms anymore. It's about integrity under heat. At lunch, he finds a note slipped into his drawer. "You're not just our teacher. You're our proof." That evening, the school board meets. Parents speak. Leah speaks. The principal speaks. And finally, so does Marcus. He doesn't read from paper. He doesn't speak in anger. He just says, "I didn't get cuffed because I was dangerous. I got cuffed because he thought I was easy. But here's what he didn't understand. I'm not built for shrinking. I'm built for standing. And you don't get to laugh while breaking someone down, without finding out what they can build from the rubble." When he sits, the room doesn't erupt. It holds him in silence. And that silence? It's with him this time. Outside, a student waits for him by his car. She says nothing, just hands him a sketch. It's him, standing on Broad Street. But this time, the crowd is behind him. The laugh is gone. And in the sky above, watch who you try to humiliate. They might be who your children run to for help. He takes the drawing, says nothing, because everything that matters is already in motion. The badge doesn't gleam the same anymore. Not for Doyle. He walks into the precinct and something's different. It's not the hallway, same beige walls, same vending machine humming by the copier. It's not even the stairs. It's the absence of noise. No one cracks a joke. No one slaps his shoulder. Not even Grant, the rookie, meets his eyes. He signs in, sits at his desk, turns on his monitor, and sees his own face on screen. Paused mid-laugh. The video still looping across news feeds, social media, even morning television. One commentator calls it the sound that shook Birmingham. Another calls it the moment that told the truth without needing subtitles. Internal Affairs calls him 30 minutes later. Short message. Come upstairs. Now. The conference room is cold. For people. 2 files. A screen. They don't offer coffee. Do you know who Marcus Reed is? He stiffens. I do now. They open the file. 12 complaints. 8 labeled excessive force. For with video attached. 2 involving teenagers. 1 involving a veteran. And now? 1 with the city watching. They hit play. The video rolls. Doyle's laugh bounces off the walls. Then a freeze frame. Then silence. You're suspended pending investigation. He starts to speak. But they hold up a hand. No rebuttal. He stands. Walks out slower than he came in. And for the first time, he feels something he hasn't since academy training. Unseen. Across town, Marcus walks into Eastview Middle for the second time that week. But this time, something waits for him. In the courtyard. Students. Staff. Parents. Signs. We see you. Not our enemy, our example. From cuffs to courage. And there, in the middle of the crowd, Leah. She doesn't hold her phone today. She holds a mic. And when they hand it to Marcus, he doesn't preach. He just tells them what he tells his students. You can't stop people from trying to define you. But you can decide what stays. Let the laugh stay. Let the video stay. But also let this stay. That I came back. That you stood up. That the table turned because you refused to sit. No chance. No anger. Just a stillness so strong, even the sky seems to quiet. Doyle, watching from his car parked 3 blocks away, turns off his engine. He doesn't go inside. Because deep down, he knows. The laugh will follow him. But the lesson? That belongs to Marcus now. City Hall's walls have never echoed quite like this. It's a Tuesday. Rain spits softly on the roof. But inside, the hearing room is packed. Teachers, students, parents, journalists. A few faces from the old guard. And Marcus, front row, hands folded, spine straight. The ethics committee called it a disciplinary hearing. But everyone else? They're calling it a reckoning. Doyle walks in last. He wears a suit now. Not his uniform. It doesn't sit right on him. Too stiff. Too clean. Like he's trying to erase something that the whole room already memorized. He doesn't look at Marcus. Not once. The chairwoman clears her throat. Sergeant Doyle, we're here to discuss the events that occurred on Broad Street. You've been given the opportunity to provide testimony. Do you understand the charges? He nods. But before he can speak, the screen behind her lights up. The video plays. Again. This time not on social media. This time in the hands of the city itself. The laugh plays. Echoes. Not just sound. Evidence. Then it freezes. Marcus's face. Pressed against the hood. Still. Stoic. The room doesn't breathe. The chairwoman says, proceed. Doyle begins. His voice is low. Not as sure. I reacted poorly. I didn't recognize Mr. Reed at first. I believed he was obstructing a traffic stop. Is that why you laughed? He hesitates. It was unprofessional. I regret it. Marcus watches. Not blinking. The lawyer beside Doyle shifts, leans in, whispers something. But Doyle shakes his head. Then looks up. Finally. At Marcus. And says, I thought I was above correction. Another pause. But now I know. I'm what needs correcting. No applause. Just a shift. The kind that doesn't make headlines, but moves systems. Later, the board calls Marcus to the front. He doesn't carry notes. He doesn't need them. He steps up to the mic, leans in, and says, I didn't come here for revenge. I came here to confirm something. That when a black man stands calmly in the face of public humiliation, the world doesn't get to keep pretending it didn't see. You saw me. You heard him. And now you decide what comes next. He steps back. No drama. Just a mirror. The board takes recess. The room empties slowly. Outside, the rain's picked up. Marcus stands beneath the awning with Leah and a few others. She hands him her phone. Want to see the live stream numbers? He smiles. Only if the comments are kind. She grins. They're not. They're furious. Furious for you. He laughs, just once. Low. Real. Then says, good. That means the table's not just turning. It's shifting for good. And somewhere, across town, Doyle finally drives home. No lights. No sirens. Just silence. And the echo of a laugh that will never mean what it used to. The verdict comes 2 days later. The city releases it with the usual phrases, breach of conduct, violation of ethics, failure to uphold professional standards. But the part people care about? Termination. Permanent. With cause. No pension. No ceremony. No shield to hide behind. Sergeant Doyle is no longer Sergeant Doyle. He becomes just a name. And a sound. That laugh are ripped from the badge it hid behind. At Eastview Middle, the mood is something different. Not celebration. Recognition. Because the students know this isn't just about one man's downfall. It's about a lesson. And Marcus? He's not just teaching it. He's living it. The morning after the verdict, he walks into his classroom and finds a gift on his desk. Wrapped in brown paper, tied with string. He opens it. Inside, a framed photo. A still from the video. Not of the laugh. Of the moment after. Marcus standing tall. Head held high. Hands no longer cuffed. The caption beneath. Strength is what you carry home with you. No name on the card. Just, from someone you taught without trying. He sets it on the shelf behind his desk. That afternoon, he calls Leah out of class. Not to scold. To thank. They sit in the courtyard, a bench between them. You didn't just film it, he says. You honored it. She shrugs. I just didn't want them to lie about what happened. He nods. That's how every movement starts. She smiles. I'm not trying to start a movement. He chuckles. You already did. Back in the precinct, they removed Doyle's nameplate. Quietly. No ceremony. The rookie Grant is assigned a new partner. But before he clocks out, he walks to Eastview. Finds Marcus sitting under the school marquee. Mr. Reed, he says, hesitant. Marcus looks up. Grant swallows hard. I turned in my statement. I stood by it. Marcus studies him. Then nods. Good. Grant shifts. I'm applying to teach. Leaving the force. Marcus raises an eyebrow. Why? Grant exhales. Because I'd rather be remembered for what I helped build than what I failed to stop. Marcus stands. Shakes his hand. And says. Then start building. Because this is where the real work begins. Not in the courtroom. Not in the viral clip. But in the ripple. The people who choose to become more than what they were trained for. The people who change. 2 months later, Marcus is asked to speak. Not at a rally. Not at a courthouse. At a graduation. Eastview's 8th grade class is moving on. Folding chairs line the gymnasium floor. Balloons sway above hand-painted banners, and parents wipe their eyes even before the music starts. Marcus wasn't scheduled to speak. But when the student speaker, Leah, finishes her heartfelt speech, she steps down, takes the mic, and says, There's someone here who taught all of us more than any textbook ever could. She looks to the crowd, then directly at Marcus. Mr. Reed, this mic belongs to you. Applause rolls in like a tide. Marcus stands slowly, adjusts his sleeves, and walks up to the podium. No notes, just presence. The room quiets instantly. He surveys it, row after row of young faces. Some teary, some grinning, all of them watching. Then he begins. I was handcuffed on a street where I've walked for 20 years. Not because I broke a law, but because someone thought my body came without a backstory. And then you all reminded me, we write our own stories. Every time you picked up your phone. Every time you showed up to class even when it felt heavy. Every time you said, I believe him. That was power. And that was yours. He takes a breath. Looks to Leah. Then to the principal. Then back to the students. The world may still try to laugh while it breaks you. But now you know how to stand. And sometimes, that's all it takes. A stand. A camera. A witness. He smiles gently. Keep watching. Keep standing. And when it's your turn, speak like someone who knows their truth can't be unhandcuffed. Because that's how we turn tables. And that's how we never let them turn back again. Applause erupts. But it's not the volume that sticks. It's the depth. The way some clap with tears in their eyes. The way parents whisper thank yous. The way a boy in the third row quietly uncrosses his arms and begins to hope again. After the ceremony, Leah finds Marcus in the hallway. She pulls out a notebook. A printed sticker on the front reads, When they laugh, a record. Remember. Rise. He flips it open. Inside, pages filled with quotes, sketches, reflections. A line underlined 3 times. You can handcuff a man's wrists. Not his worth. She shrugs. I'm calling it the first draft of something. He closes it gently. I'd publish it just like this. Then hands it back. Because she doesn't need permission. She already has her voice. And now the city has its memory. Etched not in laws, but in lives. The ripple becomes a current. In the months that follow, something shifts in Birmingham. Not loudly. not all at once, but deeply. The department rolls out a new program, Witness Within. Officers are now required to review footage from community-submitted videos in their monthly training. And they start with Leah's. Day 1. Video 1. The clip plays in a dark room full of uniforms. The laugh echoes. No one laughs back. At Eastview, a new elective is added to the curriculum, Media and Justice. Leah helps design it. Marcus teaches it. The first assignment? Film a moment that reveals character, not just conflict. The submissions roll in. 2 boys recording their grandma organizing food bank deliveries. A girl catching her older brother tying a stranger's loose shoelaces at the mall. A quiet clip of a kid in a hoodie sitting beside a crying teacher after school, saying nothing, just being there. And then, a short film titled, The Sound That Changed My City. The opening frame? Doyle's laugh. The final frame? Marcus, standing on stage at graduation, saying, When it's your turn, speak like someone whose truth can't be unhandcuffed. The film wins a regional award. But more than that, it gets used as curriculum statewide. Meanwhile, Marcus receives a letter. From Doyle. No return address. Just a folded sheet of lined paper. It reads, I thought being feared made me respected. I thought a laugh was harmless. I now understand it echoed longer than my career did. I don't expect forgiveness. I just hope I helped you build the platform you deserved all along. TD. Marcus folds the letter carefully. Doesn't tear it. Doesn't frame it. Just places it in a box labeled Testimonies. Back at Eastview, a new bench is installed in the courtyard. Simple wood. A small plaque. To the ones who stood still. When the noise said run. Students eat lunch there. Study there. Sometimes just sit and breathe. One day, Eliza, the granddaughter of Miss Thelma, comes to visit the school. She sees the plaque, runs her fingers across it, then turns to Marcus and smiles. You're still turning tables, huh? Marcus chuckles. I'm just keeping them from turning back. The bell rings. And as students scatter into hallways that echo with new stories, you realize. The laugh didn't break him. It revealed him. And now? He's making sure no one else has to be defined by someone else's amusement. Only by their own rise. It's autumn when the honor arrives. The city hosts its annual Civic Leadership Awards in a grand hall that used to feel like it belonged to someone else. The ceilings arch like cathedral bones, the floors gleam like they've been waiting years to reflect something worthy. This year, the keynote is different. It's Marcus. He stands on stage, framed by golden light and a still silence from hundreds of chairs filled with educators, leaders, veterans, and youth who've memorized the clip, but learned so much more from the life after it. The host introduces him not by titles, but by moments. He stood still while being cuffed. He taught class the next day. He turned a laugh into a library of dignity. Marcus steps up. No fanfare. Just footsteps, quiet and sure. He leans into the mic, nods once, and begins. I didn't come here tonight because I wanted to be recognized. I came because a laugh that tried to shrink me got recorded. And that laugh taught more people than I ever could in one classroom. Not because it was right, but because you all helped make sure it didn't get the last word. He pauses. Lets the stillness settle. The world has a history of mistaking restraint for weakness, of mistaking stillness for surrender. But I've seen what stillness can do. I've seen what a teenager's courage can document. I've seen what a city can become when it chooses to look again. The crowd rises slowly, not out of habit, out of alignment. Afterward, Leah finds him backstage. Now a high school junior, with a press badge slung over her shoulder and a new voice, stronger, clearer, earned. She hugs him. You're still my favorite quote. He laughs. This time, I'll take that. Outside, the wind picks up. Leaves skitter across the street, dancing like memories that refuse to stay buried. Marcus walks to his car, finds a note tucked under his windshield wiper. You taught me how to hold a badge without losing my soul. G. Grant, the rookie no longer. Now a community liaison officer, known for walking without backup, not out of bravery, but out of trust. Marcus smiles, then drives home, headlights slicing through the quiet night, the kind that carries history in its hush. And somewhere behind him, long erased but never forgotten, a laugh plays in someone's memory. But now, it teaches instead of terrorizing. The city decides to rename the park near Broad Street. It used to be just benches, cracked pavement, and a fountain that barely worked in summer. But now, a plaque has gone up. A new name carved in stone. Reed Square. At the dedication, Marcus stands off to the side. He didn't ask for this. He didn't even vote on it. But the community did. Overwhelmingly. Leah reads the inscription aloud. For the man who stood still and reminded us what dignity looks like. Under pressure. Children play nearby. Teenagers gather at the bench beneath the plaque. One of them takes out a small speaker, presses play. It's a recording from Marcus's graduation speech. You can't stop people from trying to define you. But you can decide what stays. The words float over the grass like a hymn the city's just learning to sing. Marcus walks the edges of the park, hands in his pockets. And there, at the corner, he stops. It's the exact spot where it happened. Where Doyle's laughter bounced off concrete. Where Marcus's face hit the hood. Where silence spoke louder than force. He stands there, not reliving it, reclaiming it. A small plaque rests near the sidewalk. Table turned here. He chuckles. Short, warm, full. Not like Doyle's laugh. This one heals. Later that evening, Grace finds him in their backyard, cup of tea in hand. She sits beside him. Do you think it's over? She asks. He stares out across the fence, where vines crawl over old wood like they've got time. It's never over, he says. But the laugh doesn't own the story anymore. She rests her head on his shoulder. And they sit. In the stillness. In the peace not earned by revenge, but by clarity. That moment on a hood, with cuffs, and the whole world watching, no longer lives as shame. It lives as proof. Proof that one man's restraint could do more than scream. It could rewrite the air. Marcus's classroom wall starts filling with letters. Not from students. From strangers. Handwritten. Typed. Scrawled in marker. Emailed in broken paragraphs from halfway across the country. I showed my son your video. He cried, then asked how to help. Your silence said what my whole body wanted to scream. You made me remember my father. He never got a camera. But you did. He doesn't hang them out of pride. He hangs them out of duty. Each letter a reminder of what happened, of what changed, and of what still waits to be faced. One envelope catches his attention. No return address. Inside, a photo. Marcus. On the hood. Right before the cuffs. But someone, an artist, has drawn flames beneath him. Not to suggest danger. To suggest rebirth. Phoenix wings curl out from his back. The caption. Born in restraint. Raised by fire. No signature. Just, for the ones who refuse to be quiet. He frames it. Puts it beside the class clock. Because some seconds deserve to be watched over. Outside school, another initiative is born. Leah and her peers launch Project Witness, a citywide program teaching young people how to document, de-escalate, and defend. Not just with phones. With purpose. Their motto? See it. Save it. Speak it. They train volunteers in local parks. Offer free legal guidance. And they don't wait for injustice to knock. They watch the doors. At the launch event, Marcus gives the keynote. He tells them, the camera didn't free me. The truth inside the lens did. And truth is only useful if it moves forward. So be the hand that holds steady. Be the eye that doesn't look away. And if someone ever laughs at you, just remember. Some laughs echo hollow. But your silence, held right, can sound like thunder. That night, as rain taps lightly on the windows, Marcus walks home under a shared umbrella with Grace. At a crosswalk, someone calls out from a bus stop. Hey, Mr. Reed, you still teaching? He grins. Only every chance I get. They wave. The bus pulls away. And Marcus keeps walking. Because every step now feels like it's pressing forward. Through laughter. Through legacy. Toward the kind of justice that doesn't need to be loud. Just needs to be witnessed. They invite him to Washington next. Not for politics. For preservation. The Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture reaches out. They want to archive the video. The sketch Leah made. A copy of the mural. Even Marcus's shirt from that day, still tucked in the back of his closet, folded like it still carries something sacred. He hesitates at first, then agrees. Because he realizes, this isn't just about what happened to him. It's about what he did with it. When he arrives, Leah joins him. So does Grace. They walk through exhibits filled with echoes: March on Washington, Selma, Montgomery, Rodney King, Breonna, George. And then, Marcus. The installation is simple. A looping video. No audio, just subtitles. You like running your mouth, huh? That'll teach you some manners. Then, silence. Then, you've got about 5 minutes to decide what kind of officer you're going to be. A plaque nearby reads, **, Marcus Reed. Stood still so a city could move forward. The day he was cuffed was the day we remembered what calm resistance looks like. Asterisk. Leah touches the glass case. Whispers, "You made it history." Marcus replies, "We did." Later that night, back in the hotel, Marcus stands by the window, staring out at the Capitol dome, its white marble glowing in the dark like a promise that's still trying to keep itself. Grace joins him. "Was it worth it?" she asks. He thinks, then says, "Ask me again after our kids never have to watch the video in school because it stopped being necessary." She smiles, but only faintly, because they both know. The laugh may be history, but the work? The work still breathes. Back in Birmingham, they light candles on the 1-year anniversary. No speeches, just a gathering. Students place sunflowers along the sidewalk on Broad Street. One student kneels, chalks a sentence. He didn't raise his voice. He raised ours. And Marcus? He watches from his car, doesn't get out, just places a hand on the steering wheel and lets the moment hold him. Because the beauty of turning a table is watching what the people standing around it finally choose to serve. The podcast episode drops at midnight. It's called The Laugh That Broke the Silence. Within 48 hours, it climbs to #1 in the nation. Not because it's scandalous, because it's exactly what the moment needs, a full hour of Marcus, speaking low and steady, like he always has. No background music, just his voice, like a slow fire catching kindling. The host asks, "What would you say to that officer now?" Marcus pauses, long, then says, "I wouldn't say anything. I'd listen, because sometimes what they think they're defending is the lie they inherited, and I want to know who told them I was the threat. I want to watch it crumble, piece by piece." The episode ends with Marcus's final words. Stillness is not surrender. It's resistance with posture. And posture matters. That quote gets printed on shirts, on protest signs, on dorm room posters. But more than anything, it gets repeated quietly, in rooms where people are just starting to speak up, to speak out, or to stop pretending nothing happened. Back in Birmingham, Eastview builds a new library wing. They name it the Marcus Reed Learning Commons. Inside the front door, a mural stretches high above the shelves. It shows Marcus not in the moment of arrest, but in the moment after, teaching, leaning down to help a student fix a project. Hands open, palms free. The caption beneath, "From hood to hope, from cuffs to courage." Leah helps unveil it. Now editor of her high school newspaper, already accepted into Howard. She interviews Marcus for the opening edition of the year. "Do you ever miss the life you had before the video?" He thinks, then smiles softly. "I miss the silence I used to think was safety. But I don't miss the man who stayed quiet in it." He folds the mic cord, hands it back, then walks through the shelves as kids whisper and point, not out of fame, but familiarity. He's no longer the man from the video. He's the man they already knew. And the laugh? That echo? It's still there, preserved, reframed, transformed. Because when the world heard a black man get humiliated, it expected shame. Instead, it got a blueprint. The anniversary passes without ceremony. No live streams. No hashtags. Just quiet. Exactly how Marcus wanted it. He spends the day where it all began, Broad Street. Same sidewalk. Same storefront. Same rusted street lamp leaning ever so slightly, like it's still bowing to what it witnessed. But something has changed. A bench now sits at the corner, carved from reclaimed wood. Smooth. Steady. The inscription reads, "Where he stood still, we stood up." No one sitting on it this morning. Until Marcus does. No fanfare. Just a cup of coffee, a wrapped sandwich, and his thoughts. Grace joins him halfway through the cup. They sit in silence, not because there's nothing to say, but because they've said it all before, and now they just let it breathe. She nudges his shoulder. "You ready?" He nods. They walk. To the school. Past the mural. Through the hallways that no longer whisper when he walks through them. To his classroom. There, on the board, someone's written in big, looping letters. The table didn't turn itself. He smiles. Today's his last day teaching. Not because he's done, because it's time to carry the work in a different way. He packs up slowly. Photos. Letters. That old framed drawing of him on the hood, wings sketched into his back. Leah arrives as he's locking the door. She's no longer a student. She's a journalist now. Local but rising fast. She hugs him hard. Says, "You ready to rest?" He chuckles. "I'm ready to write. A new book. Part memoir. Part guide. All truth." He plans to call it, "Don't Mistake My Silence." That night, he sits on the porch, Grace asleep beside him. He closes his notebook, looks up, and hears something. Not a laugh. Not this time. A voice. Small. Hi. Across the street, a little black boy stands at the corner, turns to his mother, and says, "That's the man who didn't yell." Marcus hears it, smiles. Because in the end, that's the legacy. Not the cuffs, not the laugh, but the lesson. That stillness can change everything. And sometimes, the man who doesn't yell leaves the loudest truth behind.